So I was honored to call Joe my friend for only a short period of time. But from the very beginning, him and Chris both welcomed myself and my wife Alex in with open arms. And remember, one of the first times I met Joe, we actually talked about his trip to Uganda. Turns out that I had been doing projects in Uganda just a few miles away. Very similar things working with kids. But Joe was a good mentor, counselor, and friend. And he was like a father to me. And as you guys have heard, he lived well. And he taught me to live well, and he taught me how to finish well also over these last few months. And he asked that I speak about 3 of the passions of his life. You've heard that he was passionate, and you've heard some about sailing. And sailing was a big part of his life. I know we're all hot, so I'll try to keep these short so we can get out in some cooler air. But he had 3 big passions: Footloose disabled sailing, which you just heard about, Shilshole Bay Yacht Club, and then of course sailboat racing. If any of you guys heard about how competitive he was out on the race course every week tearing it up. And as I was preparing for this, I was thinking, well, what can I talk about for Joe? And I realized there's just too many stories. That's been said several times. Come talk to people afterwards. Up in this corner is Shilshole Bay Yacht Club, a lot of members. Talk about the cruises that him and Chris have been on. There's amazing stories. Bob Ewing is sitting here. He's the founder and president of Footloose Disabled Sailing. Amazing man, has some amazing stories about what Joe has done there. But I want to tell just 3 quick stories of my own about Joe. And the first one, I think it was appropriate to talk about the very first day that I met him, which was also my very first Footloose event. And it's just seared indelibly on my memory. I think about this all the time, actually. So when I showed up, I didn't know anybody in this organization. I had never worked with anybody with a disability before. I was way out of my league. I knew I liked sailing and I was bad at it. And I show up, and here's this big guy with a big old grin, and he comes over and he greets me with his big hands, his powerful handshake, and starts talking to me about sailing. And it turns out that I was on his boat. He was the skipper of the boat, and we took out this gal named Susan. And this is what's forever going to be in my brain. This gal was in a chair. She couldn't get up and move by herself at all. She was kind of stuck, hunched over like this. Couldn't really open her eyes, couldn't talk. She could hear things, but that was about it. And she had a caretaker that had to come with her. So we put her in this sling and we get her into this boat. And it's the most amazing thing how these people, you truly leave your disability at the dock. I saw the wheelchairs lined up on the dock that first day, and it was incredible. And these people are out there running these sailboats and having freedom. So we get out there, and we kill the motor, we put up the sails, and Susan, hunched over, suddenly starts making these happy gurgling noises. Her caretaker told me she wasn't vocal. She didn't make any noise. But when she got out on that boat, she suddenly came alive, and she got very happy. Her caretaker said, wow, she loves sailing, she loves Footloose, and in particular, she loves going out with Joe. So for the entire rest of the day, I was hooked. Instantly, my heart melted, and I knew, I'm going to be a part of this organization. So for the rest of the day, Joe and I took people out, and it was just one amazing experience after the other. We talked about sailing, and we talked about Uganda quite a bit. And Joe was a cornerstone of Footloose for many years. He attended every event that he could. He often rode in on his motorcycle, and there's quite a few people that have become sailors at Footloose because of disabilities that they suffered through motorcycle accidents. So he'd ride in on his motorcycle as just one more way to connect with them, and they loved it. He loved teaching people how to sail also. So these people that are typically, a lot of them stuck in wheelchairs or have some form of limited mobility, or are just told in society that you're disabled, you can't do anything. You need to go sit over there while us people go and do the real work. He wasn't like that. He would take them and say, hey, look, here's the names of all the ropes, which are actually called lines on the sailboat. And he taught them what every single line was, exactly what it did, and how to use it. And he taught them how to steer the boats, and gave them a sense of freedom and purpose that they wouldn't get in normal life. And they got to control this big boat and harness the wind and go wherever they wanted. And as you heard, Joe helped raise all the money for inspiration. It truly was a perfect name for a man who was so inspirational. And even now, you know, helped raise money for the first boat, but he still has the gauntlet thrown down to raise money for the second boat. And Rotary is hard at work on that. And Joe really epitomized the Footloose model, which is leave your disability at the top. If you guys want to hear a little bit more about what he did, what he meant with Footloose, on the back of your little papers, there's a link to Footloose's website where you can read some more about what he was like there. The second thing was Shilshole Bay Yacht Club. So Joe introduced me to Shilshole Bay Yacht Club shortly after I had started going to Footloose events. And it was at this July 3rd event in Paulsville where just hundreds of boats go. And I pulled up in my little 23-foot boat, tied it next to Joe's gigantic 36-foot boat, and it just looked like this little tiny raft next to his boat, and all of the other boats in the club. But it was pretty amazing, and he took me from boat to boat and introduced me to everyone, and I was hooked in the club. Over the years, there's been lots of cruising events and lots of fun times, monthly dinners that Shilshole Bay Yacht Club does, and lots of really great memories that have happened through that. One of them that I remember with particular fondness was last year when Joe and I went down to Eagle Harbor with our boats, and AJ grabbed his boats as well, and his wife came, and Chris came, and we get down to Eagle Harbor, and we're getting ready to go across from West Point out over to Bainbridge, and these two cruise ships are coming by. If you know anything about sailboats, they don't move very fast. Cruise ships are big, very big. So I tried to stay away from cruise ships when we were out there. But did Joe? No. He challenged that cruise ship to get across there first. And AJ and I are both very competitive, so we're chasing him. You know, we don't really have a chance of catching him because it's Joe, and he's not going to let us do that. But AJ took up that challenge. He tried to chase him across. And the second cruise ship started calling him on the radio. I wasn't too happy about that. I parked my boat and got out of the book and read and waited. When of course Joe razzed me once I got across to the other side. Why couldn't you make it? Come on. Well, what I really remember about that is we went into Eagle Harbor and tossed out an anchor, and all three of us boats tied together. And about 2 in the morning, I hear this noise, and I don't really know what it is, but I woke up and I stuck my head out, and there was a raft of 4 boats that came down on us, that had drifted off of their anchor, and ran into us.
Oh no!
It's not really something you want to wake up to at 2 in the morning. It took us about an hour to untangle all of them and get them situated and away from our boats. No damage was done, but I don't think that AJ's wife or Chris slept for the rest of that night. And there's tons more stories like that. I mean, for years, Chris and Joe went on cruises all over the place with their boat and in other places around the world. So I really encourage you guys to talk with some of these Shilshole Bay Yacht Club people about some of the cruises that they've been on. At Shilshole Bay Yacht Club, Joe helped with the racing program. Obviously, he's a racer. We're going to rope him into that, right? He served on the board. He was a past Commodore, and he's been an integral member of Shilshole Bay Yacht Club for many, many years. And his presence is definitely going to be missed as we start up our fall dinners again. And then, obviously, you've heard of Joe's love for sailing. That's what we've been talking about. But his racing is what really drew him and I close together fast. That first day at Footloose, in between working with the sailors, the participants, he started telling me how he always won races. He was going on and on about this entire trophy chest at his house and how he gets so many trophies his wife won't even let him keep them anymore. And I thought to myself, okay, either this guy is full of baloney or he's humble bragging. And he invited me to go out on a practice race with his crew. I thought, oh, okay, I'll see what this guy's about. And I went out and he was humble bragging. There was an actual race that night. And so we were going to follow them around the course as training for ourselves. And we wound up beating them all by 15 minutes. It was incredible. And I was hooked after that. I spent many, many years racing with Joe after that. He taught me really how to sail. Taught me how to be a good man. Taught me how to be a father to my new baby, who he got to meet a couple of times, and I'm grateful for him. And Joe was just an amazing person who I was blessed to have in my life. Thank you all for coming here to celebrate him. I think Brad's going to come up next and give us some more words.
Yes.